I saw this video of this girl who lost 30 pounds just by balancing her hormones. I think I have hormonal imbalance as well. Could you help me out with that? You know, I have seen a lot of hormonal balance videos online, but not everything is showing us a clear picture. So you know what? I think we should talk about it. Hello. My name is Jo. I'm a registered nutritionist and dietitian. As a dietitian, what I have been noticing is that online we are seeing a lot of hormonal balance tips that is actually diet culture in disguise. Don't get me wrong, hormonal balance is important, especially for females as we've got lots of things going on. There is so much more to it. So I want to break it down, I want to talk about it to give you practical tips on how to actually balance your hormones. Let's do it. Hold up, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you guys want more videos, and if you want to work with me for hormonal balance, you can also check our program links in the description. Let's go. Hey, what are hormones? Hormones are one of the substances made by the glands in our body. Hormones circulate around the bloodstream, and their main goal is to regulate actions and processes of our body's cells and organs. We have many hormones. Hormones for blood sugar, stress, reproduction, metabolism, and more. How are hormones regulated exactly? Hormones are regulated by these feedback mechanisms, or negative and positive feedback mechanisms. And our brain has these signals that it sends to the other parts of our body to tell them to create specific hormones to regulate processes. In short, your body is smart. It's got mechanisms in place to regulate your hormones very well. So what causes hormonal imbalance? Let me give you some examples. Some of the causes of hormonal imbalances would be diseases that disrupt the normal process of your body, autoimmune factors, which is your body attacking itself, pregnancy, menopause, or other stages in the menstrual cycle, stress on your body, trauma from certain situations, tumors, eating disorders, and of course, your lifestyle factors. Everyone experiences hormonal imbalance or fluctuations at one point of their life because life happens. I've heard of PCOS and like blood sugar imbalances and things like that. Could you give me other examples of hormonal imbalances? It depends on which hormone needs to be balanced out. Diabetes or insulin resistance, where the imbalance is in your blood sugar regulating hormones. Thyroid diseases, which impact your metabolic hormones. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, which impact females' reproductive hormones. And estrogen dominance, to name a few. How do I know if I have hormonal imbalances? Like, what am I gonna feel? Some of the symptoms of hormonal imbalances would be unexplained weight gain, fatigue, brain fog, migraines, irregular or loss of periods, hoarse voice, insomnia or difficulty sleeping, constipation, diarrhea, or any digestion issues, a rapid heartbeat, changes in your blood pressure, hair growth that is either thicker or in places that your hair doesn't usually grow, depression and anxiety, low libido, food cravings that you don't really understand, acne, loss of hair, and many more. So if I have these symptoms, does that mean that I have hormonal imbalance? If you feel these symptoms, then you can go to a physician to help guide you. Now, I do want to emphasize that a lot of these symptoms are also similar to many other situations in our life. In most cases, it's definitely important to get hormonal tests for specific hormones, not a doctor, and this is just very much surface level information to find out if you really have that hormonal imbalance. And this is why it's important to consult with your physician to figure it out. Thanks for clarifying all of these things. Now, what if I do have hormonal imbalances? How do I manage that? Let's talk about managing our hormones. Remember that lifestyle changes is just one factor of hormonal imbalances. The changes you would have to make would depend on the individual and their own concerns. This is more of a general guideline to help you get going. Eat enough. We do not emphasize enough how harmful underfeeding, undereating, and starvation is to your hormones. There's actually a link between anorexia and hypothyroidism, who develop hypothyroidism after long terms of not being able to fuel their body. But wait, I want to lose weight. Doesn't that mean I have to reduce my intake? Yes, weight loss usually needs the creation of a calorie deficit, but when we say eating enough, this is eating enough for your goals and for your health, because you shouldn't sacrifice one goal for another. So you might be thinking, hey, it's just for a diet. I'm just eating a little bit until I lose the weight, not knowing it could actually long-term damage your health. And when I say not eating enough, this is you're cutting out food groups, the 1,200 calorie diets or less, and major meal skipping. Another way that undereating can impact your hormones would be raising up your stress hormone, aka cortisol, causing more inflammation and struggles in the body. It's rough. I know. But how do I know if I'm eating enough? Some things you can look at to know if you are eating enough is if you're feeling less hungry, if you have less cravings, if you're having more energy, and if you're feeling satisfied. This could at least be a baseline. Focusing on having a consistent meal pattern, especially for blood sugar balance, which is important for those who have insulin resistance, specifically that of PCOS and diabetes. Having a consistent and regular meal pattern is actually going to help you regulate your blood sugar better and your appetite as well. Most studies actually show there are benefits to having a regular meal pattern, especially when it comes to appetite, overeating, cravings, and more. Generally, I would recommend to have your first meal within the first 2 hours of waking, and then having a meal or snack every 3 to 4 hours after. Added note that it's also beneficial to have most of your meals earlier in the day. Plus, your tendency to skip meals will also lead you to the tendency to overeat later and feel very uncomfortable. Focus on increasing nutrient quality. Like we always say over here, add, don't restrict. Because every time you're focused on restriction, you're taking out a whole big chunk of food choices and nutrients that your body actually literally needs. For example, you've got the low carb diet. Going low carb, you're also cutting out a big chunk of fiber and so much more. Instead, we got to be focused on what we have to be adding to increase nutrient quality for hormonal balance. And this would be your lean sources of protein, your high fiber fruits and vegetables, as well as whole grains, and your unsaturated fat, your omega-3s and omega-6s. What are sources of these? I got you. Let's talk about it. When it comes to protein, it's very much recommended to make sure that each meal or snack has a little bit of protein here and there. I would aim for about 8 to 30 grams of protein for meals and snacks. Now, sources of protein could differ for everyone. You've got animal-based sources like chicken, beef, pork, seafood, fish, eggs, and dairy, while you have plant-based sources, tofu, legumes, lentils, nuts and seeds, TVP, tempeh, and many more. I do want to encourage the intake of more plant-based proteins as well, because they have a lot of benefits towards blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, and hormonal balance. Then we have your fiber sources. Generally, we are recommended to have 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day, and in most instances, we only get like 8 to 10. If we're so focused on cutting out, we're really not able to incorporate as much nutrients as possible. High fiber food sources would be basically all of your fruits and vegetables, specifically your leafy greens or your cruciferous vegetables, and your whole grains. So rolled oats, rice, wheat, potatoes, sweet potatoes, and more. Quick nutrition tip for those who are insulin resistant but still want to eat carbs. A way that you can lower the impact to your blood sugar of certain carbohydrates is actually cooling them for about 12 to 24 hours. So for example, if you have rice, potatoes, pasta, instead of eating them right as they are cooked, cool them over 12 to 24 hours, and then you can cook it again and eat it. And then we have your unsaturated fat sources, from omega-3s to omega-6s. This would be your nuts and seeds, olives and avocado, plant oils like canola oil, olive oil, sunflower oil, and more. Hold on, I heard that plant oils and seed oils are bad. There's a lot of people who are creating fear about seed oils and plant oils, so let me tell you about it. They actually have many benefits towards lowering inflammation and cholesterol in the body. You can also opt for fatty sources of fish like salmon, sardines, tuna, bangus, and more. Should I be taking supplements for hormonal imbalances? It definitely depends on what specific case or specific thing you need to be treated. But there are certain supplements that can be beneficial. Probiotics, vitamin D, iodine, magnesium, zinc, myo-inositol, inositol, omega-3 supplements, and more. Before you take any supplements, it's very important to consult first with a dietitian or physician to help see what specifically you might need. Moving your body joyfully. I know we're very hustle culture, work hard type of living. In most instances, those who struggle with PCOS or thyroid conditions could actually benefit from more low impact exercises rather than always high impact all the time. Some studies show that high intensity exercise is great for insulin resistance and improved metabolic markers for those with hormonal imbalances. However, studies also showed that high intensity workouts tend to increase cortisol. Exercise, whether high or low intensity, had improvements for hormonal imbalance. Focus on experimenting and finding that balance where you're not going too hard all the time and you're also able to enjoy your exercise. This is where going to a personal trainer or coach to help you figure that out comes in. Of course, make sure to find a coach that really understands you. Focusing on sleep hygiene. If your nutrition is on point, you're working out regularly, all of these things are in check, but you are not sleeping enough, we gotta take a look at that. Lack of sleep increases cortisol. It messes up your blood sugar, your appetite, and so much more. Girl, I'm having trouble sleeping. How am I supposed to get enough sleep? I get it. A big symptom of hormonal imbalance is lack of sleep. How can you get sleep to balance your hormones? Consider the environment you have going to bed, the time you are sleeping, the screens that you have on. Of course, part of sleep hygiene also comes stress management, so do take a look at that as well. Now, these are some of the baseline starter tips that I can recommend for you to look into to start balancing your hormones. Results for hormonal imbalance is not going to be weight loss, especially for everyone. And there are different factors to weight that we have to consider. It's not a magical hack for a physical transformation. It's about balancing out things internally so that you can feel amazing externally. And most of the time we have to ask if online weight loss transformations that focus on hormonal balance are actually about balancing hormones or making lifestyle changes that actually stick. Now, there is many things to be discussed towards hormonal balance, but again, this can be a starter pack for you to get on your journey. If you do want a little bit more help and guidance, I do have a program to help you restore your body to hormonal balance in the link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you subscribe for more videos and let me know in the comments what else you want to talk about. Until the next video, don't forget, you always deserve to eat.